Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. Look at that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the P-61 Black Widow. Now, this is gameplay. This is on the test server, which is distinctly different from the dev server. So people are like, where are you getting this footage? I'm getting it on the test server. Alright? So just remember, there's no dev server opening up, or you'd see me post it on Twitter so that we could all get on there and play this together. So this is very exclusive footage of what I think is going to be, oh, look at that, the best vehicle from the patch. The 50s are able to fire independently from the 420s blazing right there. So you can see how the P-61's a Nightfighter, right? It's heavy though. You can kind of tell already just by watching it that it'll be a very, I think it's going to be sort of similar to flying a B-25 in terms of its maneuverability. Plus, like, you look at that elevator on the back, like, yeah, it's going to be great, but it's not going to be just like invincible. I mean, even the Death Star is not invincible, right? But when you look at it, the 450s on that turret on the top, and then the 420s, which are below the fuselage there. There's a close-up of the 450s. God, this thing is looking amazing. And there you can see the 420s. Yep. 420s, 450s. So that'll be the turret. But you can kind of see how there is going to be a spot, or a few spots rather, where, like blind spots, where this, you can definitely get hit with impunity. Or you can hit this thing with impunity, rather. So let's talk a little bit about the P-61. Update 1.57, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Nightfighter, right? So it had a radar, at least in real life, and the reason was so in the dark you'd be able to track enemy aircraft. So it had 3 people: pilot, gunner, and radar operator. And you look at the rear of it, and it's got this amazing, like, open glass area where you pretty much have exceptional visibility. Now, this thing is called, according to the dev blog, they're calling it the American Flying Tank, a rank 3 aircraft with power frontal weaponry, the 420s we've seen, and 4 50 caliber machine guns, a solid frame, protected fuel tanks, the ability to carry up to 4 1,000-pound bombs, and a highly curious turret with 4 12.7mm machine guns, capable of attacking targets all across its upper surfaces. Incidentally, this turret could also be locked to shoot forwards, so the pilot could control it as a frontal weapon. In War Thunder, we plan to introduce this function a little later in the form of a research modification. First off, that's amazing. Now, it's going to be kind of, it's a little unfortunate we don't get it right away, but remember the PT-76, how it didn't float at the beginning, and then it became an amphibious tank. And I think it's a fan favorite amongst many tankers, just for its ability to float. I think what we need now, obviously, is more maps where we can use that amphibious ability. And by the way, on Tunisia, if you try to go around the castle there, you will get a 5 count and you'll die, which sucks. But I need more places to use my amphibious PT-76, and we need more amphibious tanks, because I think that is awesome. So the fact that they are making it so you're going to be able to, you know, be able to fire forward with it, basically make it a destroyer. Now, what I'm wondering if it's a modification is if it's going to be just locked the whole time, or if there will be ability to kind of use it as an individual turret and then lock it forward and be able to switch between the two, because then this aircraft would be even more amazing. Because when you're evading, you just unlock it, the turret goes off, and 450s is pretty adequate to deal with most enemies that may try to, you know, get on your 6, especially at rank 3. But then when you see a bigger target, or you're on someone's 6 and they may be, you know, unawares, or you're just going in, being able to fire 420s and 450 caliber machine guns at the same time is pretty amazing. So In War Thunder 1.57, the aircraft will be presented in two versions. First, the P-61A1, the early model of the aircraft in Army livery, and then the P-61C1, a night bomber with improved flight characteristics and black camouflage. The black paint scheme is what gave this aircraft its name, Black Widow. And the P-61C1, the night bomber version, has air brakes. So it's a very unique looking aircraft. It's very unusual. You can see some flaps right here and bombs and everything like that. It's going to be really, really cool. So let's see. Note the Black Widow model correctly duplicates the canopy framing of the cabin and the hatch through which the pilot and radar operator entered the vehicle. The gunner, who was seated in the rear of the fuselage, had an excellent panoramic view to the rear. Our artist carefully recreated his cabin also in the in-game model. So, and then, let's see, right here. One of the unique characteristics of the P-61 is its spoilers, excuse me, which move out from the wings and in practice fulfilled the role of ailerons. The spoilers themselves had their animation, were recreated in our in-game model. They are also fully functional in the aircraft's flight model, so that is pretty sweet. In short, the Black Widow is certainly an interesting aircraft, equally useful both in air combat role and in mixed battles of War Thunder. Try out this American technological marvel of its time in War Thunder 1.57. So, we've got the KB-1S, the Focke-Wulf 189, the Falcon AA, the T-44-100, and the Dornier 335. 3, 4, 5, 6. So of the 6 new vehicles, I am a big fan of 4 of them, and I think 2 of them are just unnecessary. I already went over that. The Russian tanks are silly. Everyone's like, oh, more Russian tanks. Like, hey, man, they're not that great. They're just not, in my opinion. But this thing, I think, will be the banner vehicle of patch 1.57. I will be flying this out a lot. It's not going to be like a magic bullet or the best thing ever, because it's heavy, it's big, there'll be maneuverability issues. It's going to be a big target too. However, I think it's just going to be so fun for those situations when you're approaching an enemy bomber or a bigger aircraft and you're about to let loose with those 420s ablazing, and then you've got maybe an enemy on your 6 and your 50 cals. That turret is just firing independently, so it'll just be like, you know, a lot of things going on at the same time, and that will be a lot of fun. So, the American Flying Tank. I think this is going to be the best vehicle of the patch, even over the Dornier 335. But the fact that this and the Dornier 335 are being added goes to show that, like, they're really trying to get some more, like, very unique vehicles that also provide like roles that and basically open up more things. Like, I think the Focke-Wulf 189, a lot of people are disappointed, have been vocally disappointed the fact that it is an event aircraft. Like, given the amount that were produced of the Focke-Wulf 189 Owl, or the Flying Eye, that it should be in the main tree. But I think right now, there's no other scout aircraft. Like, what would it be considered? I mean, it's not necessarily a fighter. It's not a bomber. There's a slight scouting mechanic in the game, right? There, like a little bit, but it's not something where you could earn and grind just by spotting enemy vehicles, right? You don't get assists from it or anything like that. There's been a lot of talk on the Reddit, on the forums, as to like different ways in which you could have spotting aircraft, and they could be very, very good. You know, systems to implement in War Thunder. I hope they do add something like that, because I think it would be very fun and it would be a nice change of pace, you know, from having to go out there and just like, oh man, I gotta like shoot all this stuff, and then be like, you know, I just want to joyride and like scout enemy tanks in a realistic battle using my Focke-Wulf 189, ping them out. And I kind of think of the Focke-Wulf 189 as a baby Black Widow in a way, because it's got, you know, the rear guns and the big glass canopy in the rear, and then it does have forward firing guns. So I think that'll be interesting. but I'm excited to take this Black Widow out. I can definitely imagine right now a lot of situations in which, you know, you're gonna have a lot of fun engaging multiple targets at the same time. There could be conceivable situations in which you're dropping your bombs, firing your forward guns, and your turrets are engaging enemies that are maybe swirling around you or on your 6 o'clock or something like that. So being able to engage 3 different targets is pretty awesome. I think this is going to be, in my opinion, it's my favorite vehicle that they've announced so far. Even I like the Focke-Wulf 189 over the Dornier 335. I think the Dornier 335 is a technological marvel. In a way, like, it's not like a wonder weapon, but it is really cool to see the fastest German piston-driven aircraft of the war, right? Especially when the Germans were developing such technologically innovative vehicles, right? But now we have something that is technologically innovative for the Americans. America! In the P-61 Black Widow. My favorite vehicle so far. What is your favorite of the 6 so far? What else do you want them to add? Oh, hey, did I mention that the Germans need a premium Char B1 tank? Thank you. We need Italians and French in the game. When I first started playing this back in, I believe, patch 1.25, maybe even patch 1.23, I didn't really keep track of patches till 1.27. But that is a story for another day. Or you can just watch over 1,000 videos I've released on the damn game right now. But like, I've been waiting for French and Italian since patch 1.27. So it's high time we get the FC205. Anyway, but P-61, American flying tank, Black Widow, 420s blazing in the front, and 450s on top. So, and bombs, and air brakes. This thing's amazing. And I don't know if we're ever going to see radar used and Nightfighters properly used in the game. Like, will there be an option maybe in the future? But you see this kind of a game, and that's what has me hooked personally, is the potential of the game. Is there could foreseeably be night battles sometime in the future. Maybe patch 1.69 or something like that. You know, who knows, right? But, I mean, there are Nightfighter aircraft in the game, with some of the Dorniers on the Germans, and now we've got the P-61, which was designed as the first true night fighter for the Americans. The Americans, I think, used a lot of British night fighters, but you guys let me know how good that little bit of accuracy is. So, ladies and gentlemen, P-61 looks amazing. That was exclusive footage from the test server, not the dev server. Once the dev server goes out, I'll release it. I'll yell to everybody, hey, meet me on the dev server. Right? No dev server in sight yet, so we have to rely on these dev blogs and this test server footage. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Baron. Thank you so much for watching. If you're as hyped about this aircraft as I am, and actually this is a question. I'm curious, of the 6 vehicles we know so far, P-61, KB-1S, meh. Focke-Wulf 189, Falcon AA, T-44-100, meh. And the Dornier 335, which is the one you're looking forward to the most? Because for me, it was the Focke-Wulf 189 until the P-61. And I can see why everyone is so excited for it. So, ladies and gents, I'll see you soon.